Hi there, I'm Craig Taylor, and a big thank you once again and as always for taking the time to join me here on my YouTube channel, the Bushcraft Padawan. When I first set this channel up, I said that I wasn't going to be imparting any advice. It wasn't going to be a teaching type of channel because that wasn't what I wanted it to be. Then I had a rethink about that and thought, well, actually there are one or two fields that I am quite knowledgeable in, quite practiced in, navigation, map reading being one of them. So I started to put out some videos around that, and they got a lot of traction, lots and lots of people liking them and commenting upon them, saying that you know, they found them useful and were looking forward to more. Several people contacted me personally to say, you know, can you do a video on this, that and the other? And it seems to be that there is a trend of people wanting to feel more comfortable in their navigation out in the woods, out on the moors, in the mountains, on the hills, in the bush, whatever you want to call it. And a number of people are saying to me, can you put together, you know, something about how can I actually start getting used to navigating in the woods, to coin a term. And probably my primary piece of advice is, if you are just starting to map read, if you are just starting to get your head around navigation, here is my number one tip for getting started with map reading and getting used to navigation in the woods. My number one tip. You ready for it? Here it comes. Number one tip. Don't start map reading and navigating and getting your head around it in the woods, in the mountains, in the hills, in the forest, in the bush, whatever you want to call it. In my opinion, that is not the right place to start getting your head around how a map relates to the ground and how the ground relates to the map. Instead of getting to grip with those skills in the woods, somewhere remote, somewhere potentially risky, somewhere away from home, my advice is to forget practicing in the woods and start thinking about practicing somewhere like this. And here I am, outside my own house, outside my own property, stood in my front garden. Now, of course, I don't mean start navigating around your front garden. That would probably be quite pointless unless you had a huge property. I don't. What I mean is, buy a local map that covers your local area. Buy it at a fairly small scale. This is a 1 in 25,000 map. We'll talk about map scales in another video. Get a map that has your property or your residence on there. And then take a few moments, sat in the warmth of the house, and figure out where your property is on that map. Make a little circle on it, just a little pencil line on there. Then step outside the front door and walk around your local city or your local town. Walk a route that you've walked many, many times before. Maybe it's to the local shops or to the church or the park or your children's school or your workplace. But this time, follow the map. Look at what the map is telling you. Identify what is happening on the ground in the real world versus what the map is saying. Look at what the map is saying and relate that back to the real world, and you'll soon be able to build up a picture about how the map and the ground work together. You'll be able to see what happens on the map when you walk down a hill. What does that look like? How is that indicated on the map? If you walk uphill, how is that indicated on the map? If you walk past a road junction or a railway line, how is that represented on the map? What you're trying to build up in a safe, familiar environment is a relationship between the map and the ground. Now, of course, when you go out and you go into the woods or to the hills or to the mountains or to the bush, you're not going to have a doubt. You're going to have the same landmarks and features that you have around your local area. But what you will have is a familiarity with how that map and the ground relate to one another. Now, in another video, in the second part of this series, I'm going to talk about relating map to ground, and I'm going to introduce you to an acronym that I learned in the military that I remember even today to help you relate the two to one another and to be able to determine or help determine your position on the ground. So let's just look at what I want you to do again. Get a local map. Figure out where your house is on that map, and then go out, visit your local shops, your local church, the local school, the local garage, and just figure out what the world looks like compared to the map and what the map looks like compared to the world. You'll have made a really good start at being able to navigate and map read, and you've been able to do it in an area that is familiar to you, so that will help the learning process, and you'll also have done it in a very low risk, safer environment than you trying to learn to navigate in the woods, the hills, the mountains or the bush. Hopefully this video was useful to you. If you did find it useful, don't forget to like, comment, share and that all important subscribe button. You know you want to do it. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you in the second part to this video series where we look again at relating map to ground. Thanks for watching.